Okay. Hello, everybody. We are live. We are live on in the Green Cleaning for Healthier Homes Facebook group, the Contented Company, Climb the Eco Ladder Facebook group, and also on YouTube. I am here with Nat Lehman, and I will just wait for a minute or two before we start the workshop. So welcome, get yourself settled, grab yourselves a drink, and we will be starting in just a minute. Okay, welcome everybody. This is Nat and myself. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching live and you're watching on Facebook, I'm using something called StreamYard. And so the comments around the event, it says, click on here to give StreamYard access just to your name so that we know if you're commenting who you are. Don't worry if you don't, you will just be called Facebook user. So you'll be a bit anonymous. So hello, I'm Elena and this is Nat, and I'm going to bring up our slides so we can introduce ourselves properly. Right, let's add that in. Okay, cool. The technology is working. Yay. It's always a bit of a hit and miss. Right, okay. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our Green Cleaning for Healthier Homes free workshop, and I will introduce myself, Nat will introduce herself, and then we'll talk a bit about what we are covering today. So, hi, I'm Elena. And my little strapline here is juggling eco-overwhelm and action, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm always trying to learn more, do more, be more effective, but at the same time, not let it get on top of me. So I am a mum of two. I am eco-confident. I would say I'm eco-confident. I have learned a lot over the last, 10 years, perhaps my whole life. And I'm confident in what I'm doing. But I'm also imperfect. I'm not squeaky clean. I don't lead a zero waste lifestyle. I am always learning, and I'm always trying to take imperfect action, just to take some action and not be overwhelmed by trying to be perfect. And I'm trying to make a difference, both in my life, my family's life, and the wider environment. So that is me. I'll hand over to Nat.
Hello, my name is Nat. I champion lifestyle impacting your long-term health. So I am a mum of two. I've got two little children. I also am somebody that loves doTERRA essential oils. And I love learning about how to use them. I'm in the health and wellbeing space in general. I work in the NHS, and I'm trying to imperfectly practice a healthy lifestyle, and I sort of share how I'm doing and share what that journey looks like along the way. So very similar to Elena, we're both kind of eco lovers, but just also very imperfect and just learning along the way, as we do in life and parenthood and all the roles that we play. But that's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. But we are not. So that's who we are. We are not. We're not doctors.
No.
We are not scientists. We are not researchers. And we are not healthcare specialists. So, as we've said, we are mums who have learned and are learning along the way and trying to share. Actually, it'd be good for me to jump onto this side. So yeah, we are two mums imperfectly implementing a healthy eco approach to life. We're hoping to inspire others to do the same, and we are always learning. And some of the things that kind of underpin what we do and what we believe is this belief in like healthier living, always trying to kind of just dial up that health element. We're looking at evidence base. There's so much stuff out there. We're trying to look at what can be shown to have a positive impact. Both of us, we just love like the intertwining of science and nature, and we think they can work really hand in hand to help us achieve that healthier lifestyle. And we are always eco-focused. We are looking at our personal, our family, and our wider environment, health and well-being. So Nat, just tell us a little bit about your eco story, because this is quite a sad little looking picture, isn't it?
I know. This is my gorgeous little daughter. When she was a year old, she had really, really bad eczema, skin challenges. So she would often look like this. Her back would look pretty sad looking, and you would find her in her little cot just scratching her back against the mattress, trying to get comfortable in the nighttime. And it would really, I'd find it very difficult. We would go to the GP, of course, and just flag it up with them. And they often gave us steroid cream and things to put in the bath. And to their credit, they worked to a point. But then, of course, it would, if you didn't use them, it would just come back. So it felt a bit stressful as a parent to be steroiding a very young child, even at a low dose. It just felt a bit uncomfortable to me. So I actually managed to speak to a doctor who believed in looking after yourself from a lifestyle perspective as well. And she really did explain to me that there can be quite a lot of hidden chemicals in laundry detergent, and by eliminating those, it can really impact on the clothes that are sitting on your baby's skin all day long. Coupled with that, we took a look at her diet, particularly dairy. And we also changed up her body wash. So anything that had contact with her skin on the inside or outside, we took a look at.
Fantastic.
And then,
shall I show the the result?
Yeah. So that is her little back 3 weeks later of taking hold of this advice. And again, this is what I mean by lifestyle advice. It's sort of what you do on a day-to-day basis that's impacting somebody's long-term health. And it's totally transformed, and she still looks like that today. And it's just been taking very simple steps that were non-invasive and very gentle for her body, and her body responded. And now, you know, stereotypically you'd say you've grown out of eczema, but actually I think it's probably we managed it a lot better, and her body was able to cope with the other options that we chose a lot better. So from a younger age, she didn't have all these skin challenges that she had when she was really tiny. So that was really, really encouraging.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So that's, yeah, because Nat and I met probably about 3-4 years ago, and we've kind of had different directions too. So that was Nat's kind of direction towards eco living, greener living, green cleaning. And so mine was sort of a different route. So other than being an 80s child with my lovely outfits there, so I grew up in the 80s. And one of my favorite things, I look back now and I realize I did come from quite a green eco family, because we always, or maybe all of us were like that. Maybe sort of in the 90s and the early 2000s, we kind of forgot, we sort of left our roots. But I certainly remember doing all the recycling, taking all the bottles and the cans and throwing them in the bottle banks, and smashing those bottles was one of my favorite things. I always was a bit sad when I got the plastic ones. It didn't make such a good sound. And my mum has always, I mean, this is actually a photo from about 2 years ago in my parents' kitchen. They save every scrap of paper, put it in a bulldog clip, and use it as scrap paper. That's what we grew up colouring on, writing on. That was our notepads and our colouring books, and they still use that today. At school, I joined Earth Action, and myself and my friends, we painted some cardboard boxes green. We put them in every room in the school. We got people to collect their recycling and scrap paper. We would bundle that all up, and I think it was every couple of weeks the council would come and take that. So at an early age, I was trying to do my bits. And more recently, I have taken part in a carbon literacy project, and got become sort of carbon literate, as it were, and also have become a facilitator in something called the Climate Collage, which is both an in-person and online game, understanding the impact of climate and climate change and things that feed into it and outcomes that come out of it. So just really learning more, a whole thing about climate change. So that has been my eco journey, and that's how Nat and I have sort of ended up doing this workshop today. So to get the most from the session, this is free. This is a sort of 45 minutes, an hour free content, but would like to get the most, like, pretend you've paid for it. Show up, whether that's live now or in person or replay later. Listen, participate. You can comment both on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll see your comments as they come in. Take away some actions and really use this as a spark to make some changes or just inspire you to do something different in your house. Note down any questions that you have. I do have a question and answer session at the end of the workshop, but any questions that I can answer on the fly, I obviously will. And bring your best energy. Alone, it can feel a bit overwhelming making changes around your house, but together we can do this and we can get excited about doing stuff. And Nat and I can hopefully show you that these things don't have to be yet another thing to do, but some things, some ideas that you can take and sort of move forward with. So that's how you can get the most from these sessions. Now, Nat, I believe that you have to head off now, so I can, or if you want to just stay until you have to go, feel free, and I can sort of drive it from here.
That's fine. I will probably head off.
Okay.
So everybody else, I'm still at work.
Yes.
So Elena very sweetly has done this so I can jump in on my lunch break. But I need to head back to COVID clinics. So
you are literally juggling everything, and as we said at the beginning, we are mums juggling it all. And you, as you say, you've got your job in the NHS. So yeah, thank you for joining us. And of course, later on, Nat's active in the groups as well. So if you have any questions later, she can certainly jump on if you have any specific questions for Nat.
And I will say, Elena and I have crafted so much of this content together. So much of my heart is in this. So I'm not just sort of here and then gone. I will be 100% there helping you guys with any questions. If you want to ask me any more about my story, you totally can do that. I'll be more than happy to help you in any way I can. So take care, everybody. And
thanks, Nat.
Lots of love.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Right, guys, I am going to switch to the full screen now, so you have so you can see really clearly. Let me just get to the next slide. Right, okay, so here we go. So what are we going to cover in this workshop? As Nat said, this is something that we have crafted together, and I'm going to take you through it. So we're going to look at indoor pollution. Why is it a problem? How can we improve it? Why should you green clean? And then any questions and what are the next steps? Right, so indoor air pollution. What is air pollution? What is indoor air pollution? Well, you probably know that it can be harmful to breathe in polluted air when you're outside. Well, the same is true for when you're indoors. And we actually spend about 90% of our time indoors, whether we're at home, work, school, or when we go to the shops or restaurants. And especially as we move into autumn and winter, we are going to be spending more and more time inside. So we really need to make sure that we look at what's going on inside our houses. Hang on one second. I'm going to take a sip of water. That's better. Right. Okay. So on the British Lung Foundation website, they have a definition of what indoor pollution is. And they say indoor air pollution is dust, dirt, or gases in the air inside buildings such as home or your workplace, like we've covered, that could be harmful to breathe in. And the reason why this is a problem is poor indoor air quality has been linked to lung diseases such as asthma, COPD, and lung cancer, but also an increased risk of heart disease and strokes. So it's not good. Now, there's two types of air pollution, and there's two types of ways that air pollution can come about, and we need to look at it. So that's particulate matter, which are tiny particles of dust and dirt in the air, such as soot and dust mites, and also gases, for example, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide. What causes it? Well, indoor air pollution can be caused by anything from gas stoves, to wood burners, to damp, to mold, to the chemicals in and on the products we use in our house. So is this something that you have ever thought about? Feel free to pop comments in the comments box and they will come through to me, perhaps a few seconds delay, but they will definitely come through. So I will carry on and then I'll check back on the comments. So now, why is this a problem? In developed countries and the global north, we are lucky because generally we don't have to worry so much about the particulate matter side of indoor air pollution. That's the tiny dust particles and the dirt and the soot, because we maybe have to worry about the dust mites, especially if we don't sort of get those hard to reach corners when we are hoovering or, with our bedding and our, dust collects, doesn't it? Our cooking and heating fuels inside our home, for the most part, are many times cleaner than those living in developing countries. So we are super lucky that is much less of a problem. And we need to be really thankful for that. However, that doesn't mean we should be totally complacent. What we need to pay attention to, in addition to sort of the dirtier fuels that might be trapped inside homes, which for the most part we are free from, is the chemicals that are brought into our houses. And the main ones the main types, the groups that can have an effect on our health are, on our two areas of our health are our lung health and our reproductive health. In addition, we also need to look at environmental health as well, because if we think about it, although we have the walls around our house, anything we do in our house, anything we pour down our plug holes, goes out into the wider environment and does have an impact. So yes, we need to be thinking about our own health and that of our family and what's going on inside our house. But let's not forget, we're not a sealed unit. Let's remember that it goes out into the wider world as well. So lungs, our lung health. These are affected in terms of indoor air pollution by something called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Has anybody heard of these? Pop a comment in whether you are watching live or on replay if you've heard of VOCs. So what are they? So VOCs, volatile organic chemicals, are organic chemicals that have very low boiling points, and that causes large numbers of their molecules to evaporate at an ordinary room temperature. So just like when you boil the kettle and the steam comes out the kettle from the water, these are evaporating at normal room temperature and even below room temperature. For example, formaldehyde, which is in paints and resins, only has a boiling point of minus 19 degrees C. So anything above minus 19 degrees C, and I don't know about you, but my house, even on the coldest days, is above minus 19 degrees C. The formaldehyde will be boiling and letting off these VOCs, these volatile organic chemicals. They can be both human-made and naturally occurring. We often tend to think of anything that is human-made as bad and natural as good, but they can be both. They do increase allergy, asthma, and lung damage. And there's three bits of research that I just want to call out. So the British Lung Foundation states that although more rigorous research needs to be carried out before we can be fully certain of the long-term effects of breathing in VOCs, about half of the studies that they've done so far suggest that being exposed to these chemicals increases your risk of developing an allergy or asthma. The Environmental Working Group, the EWG, and we talk about these guys and use these guys in our course that's happening next week, the Green Cleaning for Healthier Homes. They did a 10-country study of 3,500 individuals who were initially asthma-free and found that 9 years later, those that used spray cleaners once a week had a 30 to 50% increased risk of developing asthma. The risk also increased both the more often people use sprays and the greater number of different sprays that they used. And finally, the third piece I want to just call out is research that was published in the American Thoracic Society's American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine. Goodness, that is a mouthful to say. I wrote that down. It wasn't quite so hard. That's a tongue twister. They followed over 6,000 people over a 20-year period. So this is a very long-term study. And they found that lung function declined in cleaners or those regularly using cleaning products. And their decline was the same as those as people who have smoked 20 cigarettes a day over 10 to 20 years. And then this is a bit of speculation on their behalf. The researchers speculated that the chemicals in the cleaning products irritate the fragile mucous membranes in the lining of our lungs, which over time leads to lasting damage and remodels our airways. So where can you find these VOCs? Well, you will find them in many, many standard cleaning and DIY products, such as air fresheners, carpet cleaners, detergents, furniture polish, glues, oven cleaners, paints and paint strippers, pesticides and fungicides, and varnishes. So they are very present. Okay. Secondly, looking at our reproductive health, and another sip of water. So, endocrine disrupting chemicals, and these interfere with the normal functioning of your hormones, and also these can be found in everyday products such as cosmetics, cleaning spray, and even furniture. So, looking at the Breast Cancer UK website, they say the following. There are many chemicals in your environment that can influence the risk of getting breast cancer. Some of these can be caused by damaging your DNA, and these are known as carcinogens, and we hear a lot about those. There are others which affect your hormone system, and these are known as endocrine disrupting chemicals, EDCs. They can be found in everyday products such as cosmetics, cleaning sprays, and furniture. And as they said, they interfere with the normal functioning of your hormones. In particular, those that interfere with the natural hormone estrogen may increase your breast cancer risk. So that's not like a definite, but it's just some research that they've done that sort of, it's all about layering, isn't it? It's all about trying to slightly remove all of these different risks just to kind of have a sort of a cleaner and a less toxic load. Right. And so they say, they give some recommendations. So go to this URL at the bottom and I will paste it in the comments somewhere if you want to. But some of their suggestions of what they suggest you do is check their, I've just typed that in wrong, avoiding. So they say check the labels of your cleaning products. Now, again, on the EWC has an app that you can use, and there are other ones as well where you can check. You look at the chemicals, the contents, the ingredients on your cleaning products, and you can check them to see sort of their levels of impact. Avoid many of the chemicals used in them, and also they suggest making your own, which is great great news for Nat and myself, because that's what we do. Right, so we've talked about these VOCs and these EDCs and indoor air pollution and how it can affect our lungs and our reproductive and our lung health. So what can we do to improve it? Well, luckily there are lots of things that we can do. First up, open your windows. There was a study commissioned by the Clean Air Day campaign, who asked the National Air Quality Testing Services to conduct 4 experiments with 4 different families in different UK locations. And they did this in April and May in 2019. And what they found is that indoor air pollution can be about 3 times worse than outdoor air pollution, due to the number of air pollution particles that get trapped inside our houses. In particular, ultra-fine indoor air pollution levels, which were on average 3.5 times. So these are like super fine particles. And they peaked at 560 times the outdoor air pollution levels. So in other words, sometimes the air inside our house can be more harmful than the air outside. Now, what I'll do as well is I will also post a link to this article, which goes through the details of the study, so you can have a look at that. Now, it's interesting because with all things eco, all things in life really, everything's a balance, and it's and there's no sort of clear-cut answer. Things are often murky and not straightforward. So one of the things I was actually reading, I'll just hop back on so I can show you. Give me a second. I will hop on and show my face. Hello. So I was actually reading this book. Here we go. It's called Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things. So this is a book that focuses on the circular economy and trying to redesign how we make products so that we don't kind of just take, make and dump, but we actually think about how we remake things so that component parts can be used again and again and again, and we don't kind of take more resources and create more waste. And in this chapter that I was reading just this week, it talks about one of the things in sort of the eco movement of wanting to be more efficient at stuff, but that maybe efficiency isn't always sort of the best answer. And the authors, Michael Braungart and William McDonough, actually talk about energy efficiency. And we've been seeing this in the news over the past couple of weeks, haven't we, with gas prices going up, and talking about making homes more energy efficient, which is a good thing for a carbon footprint. But there are sort of side effects that we need to think about. So, for example, it talks about like 20 years ago, so this is in Germany, the average amount of oil used for heating and cooling a house was 30 litres per square metre per year. And then today, with extra energy efficient housing, that number has plummeted to 1.5 litres. So that is fantastic, isn't it? That is just insane. That's like 20 times less use of energy to heat the homes. However, what this has meant is it has also increased indoor air pollution and indoor air particulates. And air quality has sort of gone down, especially if we think about the chemicals that are used in the making of our like sofas and beds and all of that kind of stuff. So that's not to say crank up the heating and keep the doors open. It's just saying every so often, open those windows, get some air circulating, don't have it quite so stagnant. So that's number one. Right, I'm going to switch back to the slides now. Right, so open your windows. Okay, Invest in plants. There are a number of houseplants that can improve air quality too, because they breathe in and neutralize the toxins that linger in your home, and then they breathe out fresh oxygen. And in fact, NASA did a study on this because they were looking at ways, because obviously on spaceships, that's a very closed system. And we cover this in our course next week. And also we cover this in our green cleaning workbook. So if you'd like to learn more, obviously you can join us on the course. You can buy the green cleaning workbook separately from the Contented Company website. But yeah, have a look. There are lists of plants that are like breathe in, if that's the right term, and filter air more than others. And NASA, actually, I can't even remember exactly which plants came out the top, but they tested different plants and they tested the particulates, and it's quite fascinating to see. So if you do join us next week, you'll have access to that. If you want to get the workbook, you'll have access to that, and you can actually see all the different studies that they did. So yeah, invest in some plants. Remove chemicals. That's in your cosmetics, in the furniture that you buy, and in the cleaning products that you use. So just always have a look for different sort of low tox, low chemical options. Now I'm just going to hop back on again just so you can see me and I can share my screen. So there are a number of different, actually no, it's probably not going to show very easily, but actually let's have a quick look. So there are a number of different apps that you can use. One is called Think Dirty. And then there is also the EWC, the one that I talked about. And then there is also Code Check. I can't get a good picture of that. And also Geeky as well. Okay. And what these guys do is you can go on and you can check out the ingredients or the of your things that you're using, your cosmetics, your shower gel, your face cream, all sorts of things. Or you can scan the barcodes, or you can have a look at the brands, and you can have a look and see they're rated on all different things. So some of them are rated on like the chemicals and the toxicity to us, or the environment, or like their reporting. So there's lots you can do to kind of navigate your way through the products that you buy. So definitely recommend having a look at some of those. What else can you do? Green cleaning. That's what we'll be covering in our course next week. Now, remember, registration is now open. And if you register within the first 48 hours, so that's before Saturday at midday, you will get a free glass spray bottle and a bottle of doTERRA essential oil that you can use. Plus, as you're already attending this workshop, the day one content that this workshop accompanies it will already be unlocked and will be ready for you to view and download and work through once you register. So that's that's the fourth thing to do. So why green clean? It's all very well me saying green clean, but why should you be green clean? Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, the main ingredients, well, using food ingredients as green cleaning product ingredients is safer for your whole family. The main ingredients for green cleaning are actually derived from foods. You've got white vinegar, baking soda, lemons, citric acid. I mean, baking soda, lemons, and citric acid, you would make a cake from, perhaps not with the vinegar. It might not taste so good. And since it's all food-based, you can be reassured that if any small hands touch surfaces that are just clean, they won't be consuming chemicals and nasties into the system, like, if they put their hand in the mouth or even just through their skin. And in fact, I accidentally got a tiny little, I was spraying the inside of my shower to clean it, and I got a little like splashback in my eye. And it did sting a lot. But after a few blinks, my eye was totally fine. It was a little bit red, but I wasn't worried that I was going to lose my sight. I didn't want to rush to hospital to get it checked out. You know, there was no kind of warning on the bottle. It was a bit of vinegar, which is a bit owy, but fine. And then if you want to add essential oils to your sprays, all of the oils that we add to our cleaning recipes are also edible too. So that just gives just a little bit more reassurance, and it means that as parents we can get children involved with cleaning at a young age, because we know it's going to be safe. They can help us make the recipes for the cleaning. They can help us clean. It's great, and you know, it's just some vinegar on their hands. Right, we talked about the environment earlier on. So natural cleaning products are better for the environment. Now, if you think about sponges, you know, those washing up sponges that come on, you know, that you have with the two different sides. Well, let me just I'll just reappear again. Hello. So, you know, sponges that you get, which, you know, the ones which are yellow, often yellow on top, and they have like a scrapey bit. Well, yellow is the main body, and then there's a scrapey bit at the top. It's often either like white or green. Now, think about that. They basically disappear over time, don't they? They get thinner and thinner and thinner. And then at one point, you're just sort of scraping around with this sort of like horrible little piece of whatever. And you're like, I think I need a new sponge. Where did it go? Where did that stuff go? Now, all those sponges, they're made of plastic. They're like little foamy bits of plastic. So they are giving off and letting out bits of microplastic as they kind of disintegrate. And yeah, that's not great. Now, an alternative, I'll talk about this. So for example, you've got some compostable sponges. So these are made of plant cellulose. So yes, the same thing's going to happen over time, but it's not microplastics they're giving off. It's bits of plant, which is, you know, compostable and biodegradable. And at the end of their use, you can pop these in the compost. So green cleaning is not just the sort of the contents of what we're making, it's also the tools that we are using. And all of those bits of microplastic, they get sort of into the air in our houses, and they also get washed down the plug hole and into the wider system. Now, we at the end of their life as well, we are putting those plastics, and they're breaking down continuously, microplastics, into the landfill. The same as with washing up brushes, scouring pads, cloths, loo brushes, etc. And by buying products made out of natural materials, which are plastic free, we're not shedding any microplastics. And at the end of their life, a lot of them can just be composted. So that's great. In addition to the sort of utensils, the tools that we use, if we think about the chemicals in the products that we're using, and the most standard sprays, liquids, etc., they get washed down the plug hole and get into the wastewater system, and they are mostly removed by the chemical treatment plants. However, 3 chemicals can remain, and that's nitrogen, phosphorus, and ammonia, and they can enter the water. When they enter the waterways, so our streams and rivers and stuff like that, they can build up. They can cause accelerated plant growth, which often leads to too much plant growth in a stream or river or whatever, and it clogs up the waterways. And then other plants that don't sort of do so well with those additional chemicals are essentially crowded out. And then the excess plants that have grown, because they've kind of got this super duper extra nitrogen, they then die in large amounts and decay and deplete the oxygen in the water. Then algae grows, which then causes animals to die, because it shuts out the light, and they decay as well. And soon it makes waterways or water unsuitable for drinking or cooking or bathing. So this all happens over time. It's not like, you wash your bathroom once and this all happens the next day. This is a slow process, but it does. Every little bit that we wash down comes out into the waterway. So it's just, as I said, the cleaning doesn't stop at our four walls. It goes out into the systems, into the water systems. Green cleaning is effective. Look at my taps. Look how shiny they are. So the primary ingredient of many natural cleaning products is white vinegar. It is an acid and it has the ability to destroy bacteria and viruses, and it can tackle Salmonella, E. coli, and other bacteria which can cause pneumonia, meningitis, and other infections. And UK researchers found that vinegar can rapidly inactivate the flu virus. US researchers found that vinegar can kill the bacteria which is tuberculosis. That is after 30 minutes exposure. So, I don't know if you want to spray and leave for 30 minutes, but it shows that vinegar can be effective. To make our cleaning products extra strong at resisting bacteria and viruses, we sometimes add essential oils, and they too can have natural antibacterial, antiviral, and decongestant properties. An important note, considering the world that we're living in at the moment, coronavirus. There is no evidence that vinegar kills coronavirus, and nor does drinking alcohol, however strong it is. For alcohol to be effective, it needs to be at least a concentration of 60% or more. So in terms of options that you can use that aren't harmful to the environment, there are two options for a coronavirus. One is isopropyl alcohol. It's also known as rubbing alcohol. And it needs to have at least 70% alcohol, and these are effective against coronavirus. However, it can discolor some plastics, so it's just that's worth noting. Also, hydrogen peroxide. Now, according to the CDC, which is the US Center for Disease Control, 3% hydrogen peroxide, and that's just your normal household hydrogen peroxide that you buy, is effective in deactivating the rhinovirus, which is the virus that causes the common cold, within 6 to 8 minutes of exposure. And rhinovirus is more difficult to destroy than coronavirus. So hydrogen peroxide should be able to break down the coronavirus in less time. Now, in terms of, hydrogen peroxide, to me, I thought, goodness, that's like, you think peroxide in your hair, super chemically. But according to the Royal Society of Chemistry, hydrogen peroxide just breaks down into water and oxygen, which is not harmful to the environment. And in addition, some essential oils, for example, tea tree oil, is actually it's like 60% alcohol. So all the things that we're using to clean are effective at sort of cleaning and disinfecting and making your taps all lovely and shiny. It's also cost effective. It's not just effective, it's cost effective. So a spray bottle of cleaning liquid can take me 5 minutes or less to make. And in cost-wise, depending on whether you want to use essential oils or lemon juice or citrus peel, it's going to cost you somewhere between 25 and 90p for that 500 mils of liquid, plus £6.50 for the bottle. So you're looking at between £6.75 to £7.50 for the initial cost. Now you think, oh goodness, that's expensive. However, if you're thinking that after that, your liquid, when you just top it up, is going to cost you 25 to 90p per bottle, and you look at other sort of eco options, you've got an Ecova multi-action spray, costs around about £2.50 for 500 mils, and it's in disposable recyclable plastic, but that is more plastic each time. So after 3 rounds of your homemade, even if you're talking at the higher costs, you've saved a bit of money, and you'll have saved 3 plastic bottles. And then after that, it's just 25 to 90p instead of £2.50. So that's good. And now, in terms, Nat makes this fantastic laundry detergent, which she talked about when she talked about her daughter's eczema. And she uses 15 drops of lemon essential oil in that. And it costs her £3.62 to make. She makes 5 litres. If she were to buy 5 litres of Ecover laundry detergent, it would cost her £15.99, so nearly £16. So that is 342% cost increase for the consumers. That's almost 4 times as much as no, it's even more than that. It's almost 5 times as much the cost difference. So it's not going to cost an absolute ton. Perhaps initial outlay is higher, but over time it's going to rapidly come down. Righty ho then. So let's switch back to a bit of me. Hello. And let's have a look. So does anybody have any questions? I can see that there are some people live, so feel free to do that. Also, if you're watching on replay, just type in and see. Now, I am using my console here, so I can't see any questions. I'm just going to quickly jump onto Facebook Direct just to see if for some reason it's not feeding through. Okay, let's have a quick look here. Have I got any? No, I can't see any. I think it is feeding through. Why don't we just check? Nope. Okay, let's have a look and see any questions. Okay, if you think of any questions later, then do feel free to pop them in the comment box. I will be happy to answer them. Nat will be happy to answer them. We are a tag team and we come together. So yeah, one of us will jump on and answer those for you. So if you don't have any right now, and if it takes a bit of time to come through, I can always hop back to those. So questions, no one has any right now. I hope all that makes sense, and if not, then do just drop us a note. So next steps, what's next? What do you want to do next? So you should all have everyone who registered our top tips for green cleaning, our 16 top tips for green cleaning. So that is a great place to start. It covers some of the stuff that we've covered here, talks a bit more detail about some of the ingredients and what you can do. So that is a great place to start. But if you want something kind of a bit more meaty, join us next week. We would love to have you join us. We love running this course. It is so much fun. It's amazing how much it flies by. There's lots of chat. People are sharing their pictures of what they've made. People have questions. We love this, and the guys who have done the course in the past will be part of the group, so they can help you out. Or yeah, it's a lovely course. What is it? It's called Green Cleaning for Healthier Homes. We've called it a mini course because we really want it not to feel yet another thing that is hanging on your shoulders and is a burden to you. We want it to be something that you can that helps you. So it's 5 days of bite-sized actionable content. As soon as you register, you will have access to the additional day 1 stuff that accompanies this workshop. And then on Tuesday the 5th, the second day will be released, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the content will be released each day next week. It is videos, blogs, challenges, articles, recipes, and we really wanted it to be kind of like a tapas that you can just sort of pick bits up. The videos are between, I don't know, like 5, 10, 15 minutes, not much. Yeah, you can just pick and choose and fit it in when works with you. In addition to the kind of the core course content, there will be daily 15 to 20 minute live sessions, which you can watch on replay because I know how busy we are. And we'll be covering question and answers, hints and tips, and looking at some eco-friendly cleaning utensils. In addition to all of that, there is some free content. So I talked about the like the workbook. That's normally £5 on the website. You'll get that for free. And you will also get a free introduction to essential oils class, and that will be leading that, talking through the top 10 essential oils and what they can do and how they can help you and how they can sort of enhance your general well-being. And in addition, because we are eco and we love this planet, 5 trees will be planted through a company called Ecology. And that is enough to offset about 1/10 of the average yearly carbon output of a UK citizen. So by registering for this course, you're 1/10 of the way there to offsetting your carbon footprint. So let me just check. Any questions? No questions? You're very quiet today. So we also have a bit of a fast action taker bonus. If you register within 48 hours from when it went live, so that is by 12 noon on Saturday, you will get a free 500ml spray bottle and a bottle of doTERRA lemon essential oil to kind of kickstart your green cleaning in your home. So the clock is ticking. If you want to sign up, that's a bonus for making a decision and signing up over the next couple of days. Otherwise, registration will stay open until the course kicks off on Tuesday. We tend to do this course twice a year, October, and I think it's often March, but I think it's going to be April next year. Or let me just have a look. I can tell you right now. When is it going to be? About then. Oh, it's not going to be until, yes, April, May next year. So if you want to join us now, that would be, we'd love to have you. And all that's left for me to say on behalf of myself and Nat is thank you so much for attending this workshop. We love green cleaning. I don't know if you can tell from the tone of my voice, but we are really passionate about this. And we would love to have you join us for the this October intake this autumn. And if you do have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact either one or both of us, and we'll be more than happy to help. So have a wonderful afternoon, or if you're watching this on replay, have a lovely evening or morning, whatever. If you sign up before Saturday, you get the fast action takers bonus. Otherwise, just follow us on Instagram, Facebook, etc. We're always giving out hints and tips, and I hope that has been super helpful and interesting. So take care of yourselves, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.